Good morning from the sunny Gold Coast. As usual, another gorgeous day here in paradise. Irrespectively, it's a little bit overcast, but hey, it's a long way from jail, and it's a long way from heartache and tough times. So I'm grateful and I'm appreciative that I've got the benefit of having a little yarn today. I want to talk about what I learned discovering love today. It's always been a very elusive destination for me in life. I can remember the first time that I fell in love, and it was with a girl who I used to go to primary school with, and I was so attracted to her from her beauty. I thought she was absolutely um, gorgeous. Um, but there was also a magnet kind of attraction where I was drawn to her, like I just wanted to be around her. And I used to play with her after school and in a church, and there was friends there, and I used to love looking forward to just hanging out with her and playing with her each afternoon after school. And yeah, I used to daydream about her and think about her quite a lot. And yeah, she was just always on my mind. And I couldn't stop thinking about this girl. And and then as I got older, she kind of fell out of the picture. And then I fell in love with another girl. And something just come to me then. I didn't have sex with these girls, nor did I have any desire to to have sex, or I didn't even kiss the first girl. And the second girl, I wanted to kiss her in the end because she kind of went through my teens when I wasn't locked up outside, and that wasn't much. I was pretty much locked up uh, during most of my teenage years. Um, but when I did hang out with her um, more was around late 17 into my 18 years of age bracket. And yeah, I wanted to have sex with her. Um, and I didn't know if it was about a love thing why I wanted to have sex with her. I just used to like talking to her, communicating with her, yeah, connecting with her on that level. And I can remember when I did try to have sex with her, I was pretty scared actually. I was I didn't want to be rejected. It was like one of those relationships where you've been like a friend and you've hung out for so long, and you kind of ask them, where does it go from here? So, well, do we have sex or do we don't have sex? And so yeah, I made a move on her one night, and it was nice to kiss her, and yeah, I pushed the envelope, and I tried to have sex with her, and yeah, she wasn't receptive, and I felt really rejected by it. Um, and I started acting crazy. Like I remember, I was driving a car, and I started freaking spinning the wheels on the car and driving the car crazy through the traffic, through the streets of Sydney, and yeah, I got pretty crazy, and I met girls after that, um, who they were pretty mixed up, and I was mixed up. Like when I started getting on heroin and stuff like that, I started having relationships with girls very similar who they were the same as me. But I never felt that initial love of the first two girls. I never, I never was daydreaming or wanted to hang out with them all the time, and it was a really natural thing initially. And the girls I got later in life, it was maybe I got a little bit damaged from being a child. Um, I don't know. I've got no answers for it, but it wasn't that magnet attraction that I initially had, and I put that down to this that I experienced a little bit of pain um, initially, and it was only a slight bit of pain where it wasn't a receptive situation from the first two girls, where I stayed pretty pure in that, and as far as where my heart's concerned, because as children, everybody can probably relate. You're very vulnerable and you're very beautiful in that vulnerability. And as life went on, I wasn't even aware of this, but I become I become harder, and I kind of again not consciously I started protecting myself and controlling situations and putting criterias on people that I fell in love with. They had to be a certain way, or they had to be a certain dress size, or they had to have a job, or they had to relate to me on a level. Um, I become selfish in love, and and yeah, I've paid the price in that, and that's okay. Like I think there's a price to pay in everything that we do, and it's that price I paid for for becoming separate from myself, and wanting to control things and not trusting um, my feelings. It was a fair price to pay, and I'm happy that I paid the price for it because I needed to. I needed to pay a price for my own insight to love, and through my experience, love is completely without blame, and it's without definitions, and it's without boundaries. It doesn't keep score, nor does it have criterias. If people are abusing each other, then I think love between other people, and that's where I'm laying my hat talking about this, of course. If people are abusing each other, then that needs to be sorted out and dealt with. But if you can't sort it out, you can't be abused. It's love appears to me that it is so precious that it deserves to be respected. But to respect it is to understand the freedom in it. And I think that's why it's so elusive in in today's society for quite a lot of people. It's so elusive because we live in a society where uh, you know A equals B and B equals C, and like um, it's very imagery, and it's it's very logical, and it's very rational, and it's based on economics and survival, comparing ourselves to other people, competition. Yeah, and just a couple of those points. It's very hard to arrive at that level of freedom within ourselves that we probably need to be to enjoy and experience the pure love that I believe we all crave in a life. If we're not motivated to love, then I don't know what gets us going on a day-to-day basis. We've got to have something with love. I know I've spoken about this before. If it's not love between each other, we'll tend to try and find love in other areas, or it can fall into desire, which I think is different to love. And I think children have got a lot to teach adults about love, their innocence and their vulnerability. Just because an adult gets older doesn't mean that they can't um, remember or recognise where they need to be to, I think, to love better. Try to love without control. Try to love unconditionally. Try to love without criterias. Be aware of how selfish everyone can be, because it's a very selfish world, and where love's concerned, I don't know if love enjoys the placement with selfishness. And some of that stuff I'm talking about is based around, I think, past experiences that we have when when we have fallen in love. You know, I've heard it said, like, you know, your first love is one of the only loves you'll ever have, and there's probably some truth in that. And any love after that is secondary because of the loss that that both sides, you know, it's got nothing to do with male and female. Like, males feel love exactly the same as females. I find it I find it sad on both sides of gender, or whoever you're attracted to, the same sex, whatever your call, you know. But I find it sad when each party keeps falling out of love, so-called love, because they don't see the fault maybe is within themselves to not identify um, why they struggle in love because of their own pain and their own inadequacies of getting to a place within themselves where they can work on feeling you know, not in control, and feeling vulnerable, um, and feeling um, you know, that point of being a child when you're in love, the innocence. Yeah, I think love does represent that also. You know, like, it is innocent, and what is innocent is going through hard times, and how that impacts on all of us, because everybody has their own definition and their own feelings of hard times, and how that can, you know, without you being consciously aware of it, how that can, you know, put a blanket around you where you can protect yourself that much that you actually aren't aware that you're doing it, or um, you don't know why you do control situations, or you know, you can't cope when when you try to reach that innocence within your soul and that vulnerability. You can't stay there. So the more insight I believe all humans have as far as love's concerned, hopefully you can find another person to love, who can stay at that innocent level with you and that beautiful level with you, and hopefully you can trust each other, and yeah, you can enjoy each other uh, during the course of both of your lives. That would be a nice thing to have in a life. So yeah, if we can just be aware, hopefully, of our own pain and what we've been through in the past, or if you're a young person, um, but be aware that to to hold on to something over a period of time is going to require that understanding and that commitment with somebody that be that naturally it comes to you, or be that you've chosen it, whatever reason, as long as we all understand that when we get there, love comes from a very innocent and pure place, and I think that's why it's very attractive to everybody. Have a great day.